All right, thanks for joining everyone. Welcome to our Salesforce customer service session. So we're going to really talk with you about what's possible with customer service in Salesforce. So quick introduction first of ourselves. My name is Kevin Spray. I've been with Ledgeview for about 6 years now, and been working with Salesforce the last few years. Been doing quite a bit with Salesforce. And Tony Clemens also joining me. He's had about 5 years of Salesforce experience, so done a lot of good projects with Salesforce. So we'll be walking through this session with you. So quick agenda items for this session. First, we'll be covering what is Service Cloud. So I'll give you a quick little introduction of what Service Cloud is, and so you can get a general understanding of the capabilities that are included as part of Service Cloud. Second item we'll be covering is email to case. We'll do a quick demonstration of how you can easily set up a monitor to monitor your email box and be able to feed those into Salesforce as cases very easily. Third agenda item, web to case. So we'll be talking through how you can create a simple little web form, publish that on your website, and then get those cases into Salesforce very easily. Next agenda item we'll talk through is Lightning Console. So we'll give you a quick little preview of what Lightning Console is, and give you, kind of walk through the different sections of the console, so you can understand how it can really help your customer service area. Omnichannel, we'll talk about Omnichannel and do a demonstration actually of live agents. So really cool tool to be able to chat with your customers and be able to quickly get that information into Salesforce and be able to really help your customers with whatever their needs are. And then we'll talk a little bit about entitlements and show you how you can set up entitlement to really manage your service level agreements and just to monitor how those cases are progressing in your system to make sure you're hitting all of your target goals. So we'll give you an example of entitlements, and then we'll talk about knowledge and how those knowledge-based articles can really help your agents solve cases and share information with your customers. So we'll give you some examples of how knowledge can help you out in customer service. So that's the agenda, and we'll jump right into it. So first agenda item is basically explain what Service Cloud is. I'll turn it over to Tony for a little bit.
Thanks, Kevin. So let's jump into it. What is Service Cloud? Service Cloud is built on the Salesforce Customer Success Platform, and what it is it's a platform Service Cloud is geared more towards service. So what you're given is two options. So if you're not familiar with that, when you sign up with Salesforce, you're either Sales Cloud or Service Cloud. What Service Cloud is it's, like I said, more geared towards service. So what you'll see when you get in is more heavy case-based and just more tailored to what a service company would be doing. So some different things that come along with service and add-ons that you're able to do is the Salesforce Phone CTI integration. So with Service Cloud, you're integrated with CTI, and then knowledge base that comes with service, and then agent council, chat. Those are all our built-in tools with service. The analytics piece, that's an addition to what you have with service. Communities, the same. So that's an addition. And when I say addition, it will cost more, not just your base Service Cloud license. But yeah, as far as Service Cloud, it's really going to streamline your service business, get things in front of your professionals quicker, and use to better serve your customers in a quick manner. So yeah, with that, I'll turn it back to Kevin.
All right. Great, thanks, Tony. So first example I want to run through with you is email to case. So this capability actually is available in Sales Cloud and Service Cloud. So either one you have licensed, you'll be able to take advantage of this capability. Really what it is, pretty simple. It allows you to, so as a customer's putting an email in and then sending it to a mailbox that you have set up, it can take that mail out of the mailbox and automatically create a case from it. So saves a lot of inefficiencies that we might have some customer service reps take those emails, copying, pasting them out, putting them in, making a lot of those decisions. So this helps really get those cases in quickly into Salesforce. A couple little things we just wanted to point out before we showed it to you. There's really two different ways you can install the email to case. So option one is an agent-based application. And what that means is it needs to be installed on a server somewhere. But the advantage of doing that is it's a more secure way of managing your email messages because it stays all within inside of your network. But it does require a server. Option two is the full on-demand version. So the advantage of that is it's a lot simpler to set up. That's one we set up just because of the simplicity of it. But it does then route traffic, via internet secure though. It's a secure internet, but it does route traffic around through the web. So depending on talk with your IT department. Your email administrators, see what would work best for you, but those are the two options that Salesforce does offer. Here's a screen we just want to point out, a little more detail on what those differences are between the two. So the number one here is that email case agent, and then number two is the on-demand email to case. So as I mentioned, the agent's going to keep all that traffic inside your network, where the on-demand will not. So it'll route things securely, but through the internet. It does require you a download for the agent, and like I said, the on-demand does not. So you can just really set this up right inside of Salesforce very quickly. A couple other things to note. There's some differences on maximum number of emails you can process per day. So it's quite a few though. So it's 2,500 per day with the agent. And then 1,000, but then there's multiples, based upon how many user licenses, 1,000 per user license. So there's some differences there as far as how many you can process. The other difference too is like attachments. So if you're gonna be receiving a lot of large attachments, you'll want to look to install that agent on your server. So if you're getting from some partners or from customers large pictures or things like that, or large videos, you'll want to look at installing the agent because it does handle over 25 meg. So those are just some things we want to point out. A couple other things as you're setting up email to case. So as you're if you want to do it right after this this webinar, you can go and do it. But some things to watch out for. The one item is make sure you set up a default case owner. So this is under, if you search in this setup menu for support settings and look for this default case owner. Set that just in case. If you can also set up automation assignment rules, but this is kind of like the backup plan. If the automation rule it falls through and doesn't get assigned to somebody, this is the owner that's going to receive that case. So just good practice so it doesn't get lost in your system. Make sure you set up the default owner. The other one is the automated case user. So where that comes into play is, so some of the historical records. So if you're tracking field values or if you're doing case escalation, this user will get stamped on there of who escalated it and things like that. So just something to set up, just so you can track it back to understand who's doing what in your system. A couple of other considerations you want to think about, set up email templates. So in our example here too, we'll show you in a second. You can automatically send a response back, thanking that customer for their, for submitting the case, things like that. So think about what email templates you're going to want, because you'll be able to specify those in the setup. The other thing you want to look at is setting up a queue. So instead of assigning all these cases to a specific person, best practice is set up a queue. Assign it to the queue, and then whoever's responsible for monitoring that queue can pick it out of the queue and start working on it. So if you have multiple people, even if you have one person, it's great, because if they're on vacation, then at least it's going into the queue and somebody else can be monitoring that queue for them. So just some setup items to watch out for as you're setting up the email in the case capability. All right, so we'll do a quick little demo of that scenario. So basically, we've set up this new mailbox. It's the LVP CRM 2017 at gmail.com. So we'll do a quick little demonstration of that. So let me click on this link, and it's going to launch an email message. Let me just type in a, so I'm kind of acting as, here the scenario is, I'm a dealer, having basically a motorcycle dealer, and I'm going to be sending a support email into the motorcycle manufacturing shop saying, hey, you know what, I really need some help with this exhaust system. Type that in there. And what'll happen here, so as I send this email message in to this mailbox, I'll hit send and go ahead and let that process. So what's happening behind the scenes right now is it's going to obviously the Gmail box. The mailbox is being monitored by Salesforce. And what'll happen is I'm going to get an auto response. So let me jump back over to my mailbox. So I should here in a second receive a response back from that from Salesforce saying that my case has been creating. So here we go. So good news. So dear Kevin, thank you for contacting us. We'll be in touch shortly. Here's your case number. So as you can see, very responsive as far as how quickly customers can get that case number back to them. And you can, like I mentioned, you can set this template to set up really whatever you want as far as content inside of this template. So great way to get your customers to be able to know that, hey, they're being taken care of. So that's the auto response that we set up. So let's jump into, let me jump into the case list. So what happened here is, a case was automatically created as you saw, and so you can see here. So yep, this one just came in today. So it came from me. It knew my email address. So what it tries to do is decipher that as much as it can. And obviously email address is what it's going to try to match on. And so it saw me already in the Salesforce database, so it could make that relationship. So so my case number 1209 came in. And let me open this up quickly. As you can see, came in. Here's the email message that I sent in. You can see the whole history of the email message back and forth. So I could respond to that. So now I'm playing the task of the agent responding to it. I'll just say, we are looking into it. You can obviously put whatever you want in there, and then let me go down here, and then I'll send that email message to that customer. So what's going to happen here, obviously, is that the message is going to go to my back to my mailbox here as a dealer. So I'll come here in a second. So here it is. One thing I want to point out that people had questions on is that whole email chain then will get tracked because of this reference tracking token right here. So you can put this in the subject. You can also put this, put it down in the body, as you can see down below here. So as long as the customer doesn't remove this little tracking, either from either location, as long as it's in one place, it'll make that association back and forth. So I'll respond to this message here. I'll say great. And what'll happen is when I hit send here, it's going to automatically then keep that whole email chain related to that same case. So as an agent, that's great for me. I don't want it to create another case because I already have a case. So as that's coming in, I'll refresh the screen here, and I can see, oh, here, yep, I got another email message coming in. So, and you can set this up obviously with notifications so that your agents know that a new response came in for that for that email message. But just want to show you that, hey, that email chain really goes back and forth between between the people and stays on that same case. So I can see the whole details here. that case, and obviously if you're familiar with Salesforce, you can set automation of defaulting specific fields and that type of stuff. So that's email to case. Wanted to give you a quick run through of that. All right. So next topic we'll show is web to case. So very similar to email to case, but obviously we're going to be filling out a web form. So let me walk through some of the little options you have there first, then we'll give a demonstration of it. So what is web to case? So basically you're gathering information in a little more structured format. So the good thing with this is email is great and it's very convenient for customers, but it doesn't format the data very well because it comes in one big email body. You can't decipher that without parsing the email message and trying to decipher it very easily. So that's where a web form comes into play, where I can really categorize specific requests, assuming that the customer fills in the appropriate information. But in this example, little screenshot here. I put, they can type their contact name in, they can type their email, they can put their phone number, their subject, description, whatever fields you really want to have them send to you. It really helps out to be able to, to categorize your information, inside of Salesforce. So very similarly, we set this up. We'll demo it in a little bit, but you can create a little HTML form and then publish that on your public website. All right, so a couple items we want to point out before we demonstrate it. The things you're going to want to think about before you set this up. Think about all the different fields that you're going to want on your case and for that customer to fill out on your web form. So create your custom case fields ahead of time. So that makes it a little bit easier because they're going to show up on the screen here in a second when we show it to you. Think about just like the email to case. Think about the email template notification you're going to send back to the customer. Similar thing here. Create case queues. That's best practice. Create a queue instead of assigning it to specific people. The other settings here, which we mentioned before, but same appropriate as appropriate here, that set up the default case owner. So just in case your assignment rule falls through, you want to get it at least to somebody, and then also assign, actually there's another setting on the web case where you can assign it to a specific agent. So this has a custom setting where you can go in to make that adjustment right in the web to case setting screen. All right, so there's some prerequisite. Then, so some limitations. So let's talk a little bit. What are the limitations of this capability? So this capability sounds great, but where am I going to run against some limits? So one is you can only receive up to 5,000 cases per day. So hopefully most of you don't have that many cases coming in, but there could be some large organizations that do. So this is the web to case capability does stop at 5,000 cases per day. Attachments are not supported, so there isn't a great way with this web to case for your customers to attach something, attach a picture, of their issue, things like that. That doesn't have, this does not have that capability. What'll happen here, just like the email to case, when the case comes in, it's going to try to associate to a contact. So it's going to look at the contact's email address and try to make the relationship to that specific person. So definitely want to, load in your customer if you have a default list of customers. If you're in a B2B business, get those people into Salesforce so it can make those relationships. So that's something to point out. The other thing to watch out for is Salesforce will run field validation rules. So if you have a lot of validation rules on your cases, something to watch out for, that it's gonna fire off, and if there's a validation rule that it's gonna stop from being loaded in, you're gonna have to watch out for that. So that's something to adjust. You can make, obviously make adjustments to your validation rules. So, based upon who's submitting it, for example, you could say, well, if it's somebody internal, run the validation rule. If it's somebody external, don't run the validation rule. So you can adjust your validation rules. So just something to watch out for if you run into any problems. The last item on this is limitations. It's really, this web to case is really just meant as an initial contact. So there isn't this concept in the web to case of being able to get updates on the case via website. So it's going to be a customer submitting a case. They can get an auto response email message. They're not going to be able to see the status of their case on their website with this capability. There's some future capability we'll show you in a second or explain to you. But this is it's a great tool, but there are some limitations to it. All right, so let's jump right into the demonstration. So the first screen I want to show you is the web to case HTML builder. So I want to show you how easy it is to create a create a simple little web to case form. So it's launching here in a second. All right, so this is the web to case HTML generator form. And with inside of here, I can on the left-hand side, I have all the case fields available to me. So like I mentioned, you're going to want to pre-create all the fields on your case ahead of time, because then the fields will show up on the left-hand side as available fields. And it's as simple as clicking the field you want. So I can say, yep, I really want, I want my customers to set a priority on their case, as they're submitting it. So I'm going to highlight the priority field, click the arrow, and it's going to select that. And so what's going to happen is it's going to, whatever items I've selected here, those are the items that are going to be generated on my HTML page. I'll show you in a second. The other capability I have is allowing me to redirect to a specific page when I've submitted my case. So I'm just going to type in google.com here just as an example. So that what'll happen there is once somebody submits that specific web form, it's going to redirect to google.com. So obviously here you can put your website in. You could have a thank you page and a little more advanced example we put together. We'll show you in a second. So that's a capability. The other thing you can do is stop some of the spam bots from auto-populating your form. So highly recommend doing this. Setting up a reCAPTCHA key is pretty simple to do. It kind of a little help file will walk you through it too. But you can basically set up that key so that you don't get a lot of junk cases being created inside of your Salesforce environment. So just as I'll turn that off for now, just to show you what this HTML looks like. So I'll click on generate. So as you can see here, it's pretty easy. It generates some HTML. So this is actually fully functional HTML that if you copied and pasted and ran this even on your local machine, or you ran it, you gave it to your IT guy and said, just throw this on our website, it would work. It's not formatted very well, and I'll show you in a second, but this is kind of the base. This is the base of it. So it's great way to quickly get some example code and send it to your IT guy to be able to enhance and manage from there. So let me show you. We've got a couple little examples of those forms. So let's see here. We have web to case basic form. So this is the one I mentioned that if you didn't do any formatting, this is the HTML that gets generated. So pretty simple. It has the contact name. It has the email address. I'll just type mine in here. All right, and I can put a subject in, description. It's fine. I'll hit submit, and what it'll do is it'll actually submit that case right into Salesforce. So and as you saw, it redirected me to Google. So you can put your own website here. So that's the simple example of not formatted very well, but it's a functional page. So let's jump into it. I just pretty quickly spent a little time reformatting that very similar example. So I just installed or added a style sheet to that form. So as you can see, it looks a lot better. Even just adding some spacing, adding some formatting, putting multiple fields on a line, that type of stuff. So anybody, you can send it to any web developer and they'll be able to help you out and get that set up nice looking for you. So this is also a fully functional form. Fill out and submit that into Salesforce. So great way to get that get that quickly into Salesforce. So as I mentioned, we can go take a look really into Salesforce, and we can show you that the case was created inside there. Let me launch that really quick. Cases. All cases. So here it is. So here's this case 2010 that was just added via the website. So it's similar to the email the case. You know, came in, and you can manage it from there. All right. So let's jump back to our presentation. Okay, so as you can see, it's a great tool, but has some limitations. So just wanted to point out a couple other options that are available to you from Salesforce if you're looking for something a little more robust than that. So option one is a building a force.com site. So you can build, depending on your licensing, you can build actually fully custom web pages that allow you to capture data, interact with Salesforce in real time, to be able to build, like get drop-down lists, right from basically get your pick list values right from Salesforce, things like that, where you can highly interact. You can also build a little page to allow attachments. So you could do a little attachment, send that into Salesforce, and manage it that way. This one this does not have the limitation of 5,000 cases. Really just based upon how much you really want to develop, how much you really want to have coming into Salesforce. So great way, if you want to build something custom, take a look at the building a site page to be able to do that capability. The other thing that actually we have a different session on is our communities. So that's a great way. So if you're looking for something more packaged, but still allows you a lot of flexibility to modify, take a look at communities, and you can then see all the cases that a customer can see all the cases that they've submitted over time. They can get updates right in that community, be able to manage it right inside of there, and not have to jump around or ask for email you and ask for updates, that type of thing. So great capability to take a look at in another session that we have. All right, so that is the web to case. So next up on our agenda is the Lightning Console. So I want to walk you through this, great capability that Salesforce offers. So if you're familiar with the Salesforce user interface, it's a great user interface, but some of the complaints are that, hey, definitely from a customer service side, is that you have to jump around a lot. You have to open up a lot of different windows. Where this Lightning Console really helps you is to keep you grounded inside that console, but still allow you to open up a lot of windows, be able to see a lot of information, on the screen at the same time without having to manage a lot of open windows. So great capability. So these are the main sections. We'll actually give a demonstration of it and kind of walk you through the different sections of the console. As I mentioned, the key features of this, multiple records at the same time. You can also see recently used tabs and bookmarks. So if you have some common customers calling you all of the time, you can bookmark them. You can see that information right on the screen, and not without having to jump around. You can also you can give your agents a lot of control. This is configurable, depending on how much control you want to give them. But you can allow them to expand and collapse different sections. So if they prefer one section bigger than the other, they have full capability of doing that if you want to allow your agents to do that. There's also keyboard shortcuts. So we'll show you in a little bit, that you can keep, if your agents want to keep their hands on the keys, they can really do that, and just not have to kind of jump back and forth between the mouse and the keyboard and manage it, basically manage it all in one screen. They can also work across multiple monitors. So there's a capability inside the console to quickly expand those tabs if they want to, and be able to drag it to a different monitor. So great capability if you have agents, with a few monitors. They can jump back and forth very easily. All right, so let's jump into the Lightning Console demo. Switch over here. Okay, so I just launched the base console screen, and by default, because I don't have anything else up, I get a list of a specific object that I've selected. So let me drop this down to show it to you. This is fully configurable, just like most of other Salesforce. I've set up these objects inside of my console. So I've added cases, accounts, contacts, entitlements, that type of stuff basically inside of that little menu system. So basically what this does is I'll click on the account and it's going to bring up the accounts object. So very similar to the capability of the tabs inside of Salesforce in the standard Salesforce environment. This just makes it a little more streamlined, that you can just click this little drop down and keep you focused on that specific object. So as an example, let me go to I'm on accounts. Let me open up a record here. So I'm gonna open up 5 Seasons Sports Center. Click on that one. And what it's doing is it's opening up that record, and I can see a lot of different related things to that object. So this, like I mentioned, this is all configurable, so I can define what objects I want to see related to that account. So in this example, I have contacts related to that account. So for example, I can click on Tony's name here, and it's going to open up Tony's record. And I click on my name, and it's going to open up my record. But the cool thing with this is you can see I have the account up here, and then I'm starting to open up these tabs, but they're opening up as sub-tabs. So it keeps it very organized. So I can be on the account. I can then jump quickly between Tony record, my record. I can jump back to the full account details. So I can really see, all of the, all the details of that record very easily. So with just being able to jump back and forth. So the other thing I can do, so I'm on the, I have the contacts open. Let me scroll down. Let me get down to cases. So similarly, I can start opening up different cases. So I just open up this one case and take a look at it and say, oh no, that's not the one I was really looking for. I'm going to open up this other case, and I open up the other case. So similarly as the contacts, I can quickly add cases to my little console here. So I can easily jump back and forth if I'm not sure which case it is. I can keep it up and running. So great way to be able to manage your different windows is have these sub tabs, and these are fully configurable. You can say what the parent is, what the child is, and be able to manage it that way. So great way for your agents to kind of keep grounded and and be able to see all those relationships between the different records. So kind of let me work my way a little bit to the right here. So these, like I mentioned, these are the main tabs that'll show up here, and then the sub tabs. So you kind of it'll keep growing. You can limit that if you want to limit your agents to a certain number. If you feel like I don't want them to have more than 10 because it's going to get confusing for them, you can. So there's an artificial limit you can set up inside of the configuration of the console. Let me jump over here to the right. I want to show you this really quickly, show you some options that are available to you. So here I have the 5 Seasons Sports Center open. I can bookmark this record. So let me bookmark, and I'll show you where the bookmarks show up in a second. And I can also pin it. So what pinning does, it actually collapses it to save you a little bit of space, but it'll pin that specific item to your console. So then the next time you come in, you're going to be able to see that same exact record right there. So great. So the example here is if you have a lot of customers that you're continuously dealing with, if you have like 10 key customers that are always calling, you can pin those and be able to easily access everything that's related to them. So great way to be able to bookmark and pin those records. The other thing I want to show you in this menu, the keyboard shortcuts. Let me just show you the little menu here. So these are the different keyboard shortcuts that are available to you, and you can do some configuration of these if you'd like to, if you don't like the keys that they've defined. But there's a lot of different ways. Let me show you a couple of them. I want to show you really quick. So like editing is really easy. Just click the E button, and then save is Control S. So let me just show you that really quick. So I'm on this case right now. On my keyboard, I'm going to hit the E button. Very quickly, just launch the editing. So great way for your agents to become very efficient, keeping their hands on the keyboard. So that's that menu. The other thing you can also manage some of these windows. So for example, if you want to say I've too many windows open, I can say I want to close all the sub tabs but keep the main one up. So I won't save that. So you can quickly clean up your screen if you want to. So let's jump down a little bit to the bottom of the screen. A couple other items I want to show you. Macros. So great way to be able to, if you're familiar with macros in Excel or other tools, other Microsoft tools, or other tools in general, the capability here is being able to replay specific events. In this example, I have a first response email. So let me actually open up a case. I need to have a case open because this macro is actually related to a case. And if I hit the play button, what it's going to do is actually fire off my macro. And let me go back into it so I can show it to you. So what this macro did was it selected the active case that's there. It's sending it's selecting the email action and then actually sending an email template to the customer and then committing that action. So in this example, it makes me a lot more efficient because I could have a standard little canned message that maybe I don't want to automatically send it to a customer because I want to review it first. But if there's like a standard message that says, hey, yeah, we know about the outage, we're working on it, and so you can have a little macro set up. You want to review it first to make sure what kind of customer it is, and then you run this macro and it automatically will send that email message. So this is one example. Highly recommend kind of looking at more of the functionality related to macros, but it's pretty cool functionality. The other thing I want to show you is related to the history tab. As you saw, I bookmarked the 5 Seasons Sports Center, so you can see that in my bookmarks. So you can easily get back to that record. So if you're familiar with browser bookmarks, very similar. I can always go back to that record and get to it quickly. The other thing, it does keep track of recent tabs that I've opened. So, other places of Salesforce are very similar to this, that it keeps track of all your recent items, but this is a quick way to get there. So you can click on recent tabs and be able to open those tabs up very quickly. So those are really the key, outline. There's a lot more to the console, and like I mentioned, this is highly configurable, so you can configure a lot of the different components any way you want, but want to show you at least an example and get you excited about trying it out and seeing how it can work in your organization. All right, so let's jump back to the presentation, and we'll give you a quick demonstration of Omnichannel. Talk through that. So let me give you a little walkthrough of what Omnichannel is first, so you kind of get some understanding of it. Actually the Salesforce help area is very good at describing all the capabilities of Omnichannel, but wanted to give you at least a quick little run through of what it is and what it can do for you. Really the concept here is taking any channel, so via email, via web, via social, chat, taking all of these channels, and what happens is you're going to want to create or will create a object. So if you're familiar with Salesforce objects, it's basically a place to store data. So so you're going to create a case, you're going to create a lead, you're going to create a custom object, whatever it happens to be. It's going to create a specific record inside of Salesforce. Now, once that record is created, you can assign it to a queue. And the cool thing with this is you can actually assign different priorities to your different types of channels coming in, or different queues. So I could say, for example, here, I could say my live chat channel is #1 priority. I want to make sure my agents are on top of the web chat because the customer's sitting there waiting for a response, right? So versus maybe a email message coming in, I can set that a little bit lower priority, still important, but I don't have a customer waiting there for a response, immediate response. So you can weight that any way you want. The other cool thing is you can also assign that differently per agent. So you can have different agents with different skills. So for example, maybe Tony, let's say Tony's a call center agent and he's been an agent for 5 years, and he can handle any type of case, and he can handle 5 cases at the same time. So great, we'll set him up that way. Let's say I'm new, I just started on the team. I'm not familiar with managing cases very well, so I can only handle 2 cases at a time, and maybe I'm not ready to handle web chat. So you can configure all of that with inside of the Salesforce system. Very flexible, to be able to manage all those different little settings for your agents and how they get managed. All right, so a couple examples of Omnichannel that we'll kind of walk through here. So one is OpenCTI. So Salesforce does a great job. They've published a OpenCTI that a lot of third-party vendors have taken advantage of. So you'll see a lot out there. We've installed one in our little demo organization. But the thought here is you can do either screen pop, so customers calling you can automatically pop the right screen, or dial out, right? So you can click a button and dial. So great capability. Salesforce has really built a nice platform with the OpenCTI. So definitely take a look at that. Look out there who has developed plugins. You can also obviously develop your own if you want to. But they provide a really good platform for you able to integrate your phone system into Salesforce. Next example, want to show you, and we're actually going to demonstrate this one, Salesforce Live Agent, so live chat. So I can, you can publish basically a little snippet of code on your website, and either public or behind a private login, and be able to chat in real time with your customer. So we'll do a quick little demonstration of the live chat. All right, so let's jump right into that. So a couple little settings we'll show you quickly. I've created a couple different routing configurations. So I have one that's just called case routing. So this is the example here is just basic cases that may have come in, either entered in manually via web or via email. Those will get routed. The other routing rule I have in place is a live agent routing rule. So like I mentioned, I can set these different priorities. As you can see, I set the live agent as priority 1, and then I put the general case routing as priority 2. And you can control like how many units of capacity does that actually take. So so in my example, Tony can handle 5 units of capacity, so he could actually handle 5 live agent items at the same time. So, but this is all configurable based upon what your needs are inside of Salesforce. So as an example, let me jump over to, actually we've got a community set up, and like I mentioned, we've got a separate session. We'll show you full communities, but we happen to have it set up, so we demonstrate it to you. I'm going to log in to the community as Tony as a customer. So as you can see here up on the upper right, I'm logged in as Tony. He's coming to my community page, and like I mentioned, this chat capability, this live agent capability, doesn't have to be on communities. It can be really put anywhere on your public website. We happen to have one here, so we want to demonstrate it. So as you can see, there's no agents available right now. So I have, chat unavailable. Nobody's logged in. Nobody's logged in right now to take my chat. So what I'll do is let me jump now back over to Salesforce. I'm going to kind of play 2 roles here. I'm going to kind of play the role of the agent and play the role of the customer asking some questions. On the bottom of the screen, you can see here this Omnichannel link, and it's red right now, meaning that and you can hover over it, and I can see I'm offline. Let me click on that, and let me change my status to available for web support. So once I do that, what that's going to do is it's going to change my status to available to take those live agent chats. So what it's going to do, let me go back to the console here. Let me close that down. Back to the communities. And if I refresh the page, give it a second. There we go. So now chat is available for me. So me as a, so here's an example again of me as a, let's say I'm a motorcycle dealer trying to communicate with the manufacturer, and I want to ask some questions. I can click this chat now, and it's going to pop up a little chat window. Give it a second here. So it's actually saying, please hold while we try to contact an agent. So if I go and look at my agent, I can see, oh, yep, go ahead and accept that chat. So I'll click accept. And I'll try to manage. Let me move these monitors a little bit for you so you can see both sides of the conversation. So here I am as a, shrink that. All right, so here I am as a dealer. You know, my dealer chat window. It says, "Hey, welcome, Tony. I'll be with you shortly." And over on this side, I am an agent. We, going to chat with that dealer. So I'll just say, how can I help you? And you can see in real time there, it's right there. And over here, Tony's going to respond back with, "I need help with exhaust system." And so you can see that, nice chat, nice chat going back and forth, easy to manage. This whole history is being stored then within inside of Salesforce. So you can always replay this, and look at it later. There's a ton of functionality related to Live Agent. There's things as far as requesting assistance with this chat even. So I could send this to a supervisor saying, "Hey, you know what? I can't answer this person's question. Escalate it over," and you can actually chat back and forth with the supervisor. So a lot of great capabilities. But wanted to show, really wanted to highlight the capability here of the Omnichannel and being able to quickly just pick that specific item from the queue and be able to manage it that way. So as I mentioned, I created this other status too. So if I click on this one, available for any type of case, you're going to see this pop up a bunch of cases. Because I have it set up that I'm allowed to handle actually 5 cases at the same time. I'm already handling 1 because of that chat, and it says, "Oh, here's 4 more that I think you can handle." So I can either accept or decline. This is configurable also to say, I don't want my agents to be able to decline a specific request, or if they do, force them to give a reason. But I could, I'll click, yep, go ahead and accept that one. I'll be able to manage while I'm waiting for Tony to respond to my chat, I can work on something else, right? So I can multitask as an agent to be able to jump back and forth between the different types of activities. So there's a lot more to that, but great capability. So definitely recommend you guys implement the live chat capability and take a look at that. So let me close that down. Let me end this chat. So let me jump back to our presentation. All right, entitlements. So let's talk a little bit about entitlements and what they can do for you. So entitlements really allow you to manage your service level agreements with your customers, or even great capability internally. So if you wanted to, so the example here is, let's just say I want to manage how long is it taking my agents to respond to a specific case, and I want to make sure they're doing it within 30 minutes. This basically what it's going to do is start a little timer saying, right when that case gets submitted, it's going to start the stopwatch, and it's going to monitor how long am I taking as an agent to respond to that case. So just as an example, and you can really set you can set those up with whatever specific rules you want, but that's an example of how you can use that capability. There's a lot of capability in here too of being able to create these different milestones and then what actions should occur. So for example, let's say I didn't respond to my case within those 30 minutes. That case could get escalated to my supervisor. Supervisor could get notified via email, via chatter, via whatever he wanted. So there's a lot of capabilities as far as automation goes and being able to manage that automation right inside that entitlement. So great capability if you're looking to manage either your commitments to your customers or even just internal tracking of how your agents are doing inside of your service management. So let's do a quick little demonstration of entitlements. So I think I have a case here we can pop open and just show you really quickly what that entitlements looks like. Okay, there we go. So here's actually a case that we added in a little while ago. So in the timer did start when I submitted that case in. So I believe this one might have been our web to case case that came in. So it started right when I submitted it, and now I only have 3 minutes to respond to that case, or 3 minutes remaining to respond to that case. So once I miss that timer, it's going to turn red, and then, like I said, you can have automation rules to escalate it or whatever you want to. The other rule I have in here is I created 2 of them. You can really create as many milestones as you want. But I did a first response as an example, and then I did a resolution to say, hey, our SLA is within 24 hours we're going to resolve this thing, or escalate it on type of thing. So this one, we have 23 hours remaining on it. So just as an example, these are really cool visual ways to be able to manage those, basically manage those SLAs or just standard entitlements. So good capability. I encourage you to take a look at that and understand that a little bit more. So let's jump back to our PowerPoint demo. And so now Tony gets to talk finally. So knowledge base.
Thanks, Kevin. So knowledge, what is knowledge? Salesforce Knowledge lets you create and manage company information right within Salesforce. So we'll get into it, but knowledge as a whole, what you're able to do is put together articles about common problems or really anything you want your clients to stay informed on. And what you're able to do is actually give them a knowledge license so they can come in and look at different knowledge articles you published. And as you can see here on the right, there's different ratings that they can be given. And then when it comes to cases, sometimes when a case is submitted, maybe there's a knowledge article that can quickly resolve their issue. So that will be recommended when you're in the Lightning Service Council. So yeah, let's what else? Oh, so as far as the benefits, how can it be used? Definitely, it will maximize your agent productivity. So like I said, if there's a case that comes in and there's a knowledge base article that can resolve that case, you can have your agents respond with the knowledge article. Also, as far as customers, they can help themselves. So maybe there's a common issue with your exhaust, and you publish an article about how to quickly resolve it, and the customer can go out to your knowledge article holding spot, so they'll have a login just like Salesforce, and they'll be directed to the knowledge article area, and they can search the knowledge articles for things they're looking for. So for example, the exhaust problem, they can type in exhaust, and that article comes up, and they can help themselves. And then as far as the knowledge management, what you're able to do is version your different articles. So if there's an exhaust issue in 2016, but that same exhaust issue, maybe that wasn't the best way to resolve it, and you've come up with a better way to resolve the exhaust problem in 2017. You can revise that original article and make that version 2. So let's get into it in practice. So like I was saying, what you're able to do is a case comes in. So on this example here, a case came in about an HD TV, and it's only working in 2D. What's going on? So on the right-hand side, there's some knowledge articles based on diagnostic and looking into why your TV isn't working properly. So those are all recommended based on the subject of the case. So yeah, definitely where your agent can quickly click on that article, attach it to the email, and forward it off to the case submitter. So let's go in and show it in live action. So what I'm doing is pulling up the Lightning Console here, and I will have to expand it. Here. So here I open up a case. So exhaust installation help, please. So I got be a bar over here. So as you can see, it automatically puts in that subject, and it pulls up an article, how to install an aftermarket exhaust. That's exactly what this case has an issue with. So let's go here, email, and what you're able to do is email article as a PDF. So what it's going to do here, it should pop right here. So as you can see, how to install it in aftermarket exhaust is attached to this email. And I can respond. Kevin was the one that submitted this case. Kevin, here is an article that should help with your issue. Let me know if you have further questions. Thanks, Tony. So now I can go down here and hit send email. And that fired off an email to Kevin with the knowledge base article that should help resolve his issue. So that's one of the use cases. And like I said, the other way, so if you want to come in here, you can search knowledge. So maybe that exhaust, how to install aftermarket exhaust didn't come in with the subject, or maybe they embedded what their case is about somewhere else. So here you can pop open this tab and search anywhere. So I can type in exhaust and search. We'll pull up all the articles about exhaust. So if for some reason it wouldn't populate automatically, you still are able to search here and look for that article. Or another use case, maybe a client calls in and you are talking to them and you know there's a knowledge base article out there that you can use to help resolve their issue, and what you're able to do is click on it and email to whomever you would like. So yeah, that is knowledge. So that's all we have. Thanks again for attending our webinar. Kevin and I greatly appreciate you coming out today and listening through our Service Council demo. If you do have questions or would like some further service from LedgeView Partners, reach out to your account executive, and hopefully we'll be in touch. So thank you. Have a good day.